Hello, everyone, and welcome to AudioSummary. Here, we break down your favorite books and movies into short, powerful audio stories, so you get the heart of the story fast. If you love storytelling, but don't always have the time, you're in the right place. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and let's dive right in. ABSOLUTION, 2024. The film opens with Thug, played by Liam Neeson, parking his car down the street from a house he's renting. He begins narrating, explaining that when he was 9 years old, he got into a fight at school. His father told him, "Don't be a pussy." So Thug beat the boy badly. Later, his father simply said, "Maybe you're not a pussy after all." Thug accompanies Kyle Connor, played by Daniel Deemer, the son of mob boss Charlie Connor, portrayed by Ron Perlman, to a fishery. They're there to negotiate a deal with a supplier. The man is open to business, but when Kyle questions what the product actually is, the man grows defensive. Tension builds until Thug steps in. The supplier mocks Thug's age, and his associate seems ready to fight. Thug calmly warns the supplier to rein in his man before he breaks both his shoulders. The man laughs, and the deal is made. As they leave, Kyle criticizes Thug for speaking out, but Thug sees that Kyle is out of his depth. He tells him, "You want to be a boss one day? Start acting like one." On the drive, Thug lights a cigarette, but Kyle protests. Kyle then snorts cocaine, prompting Thug to warn him that the habit will only lead to trouble. Later, Thug visits a mattress store, a front for Charlie's criminal operation. Charlie questions how the deal went. Thug tries to cover for Kyle, but Charlie isn't fooled. He knows his son is incompetent. Charlie laments that he wanted Kyle to become a lawyer, not a mobster, but Kyle insisted on joining the family business. He gives Thug a new assignment. Thug blanks on key details, and when asked if he's all right, he lies, blaming it on headaches. Outside in his car, Thug consults a notebook where he jots down important facts. He writes, "Charlie Connor's my boss." Thug then heads to a gym and spars with a younger boxer. He lands and punches, but takes a few as well. Later, in the locker room, he appears distant. The gym owner checks in on him. As Thug leaves, the owner reminds him why he was really there, to collect protection money. Thug retrieves the payment and departs. That night at a bar, Thug argues with the bartender over free drinks. A loud argument erupts between a woman and her boyfriend. Thug approaches and tells the man to take it outside. The man refuses and threatens him. Thug knocks him out with a single punch. The woman, played by Yolanda Ross, yells, accusing Thug of killing her boyfriend. "He ain't dead, he's just stupid," Thug replies. Later, outside the bar, the woman confronts him again. He insists the man deserved it. She nods with a smile and asks who will take her home. Back at her place, Thug makes out with her aggressively. She tells him to slow down, and they eventually have sex. In bed, she mentions that she prefers noise to silence. She notices a tattoo on his arm, Loopy. She says that was her nickname in high school. When she asks who it's for, Thug responds coldly, "Some whore." She's taken aback, but he explains it was for someone he once loved, until he came home to find her with two of his friends. She tells him it was still a romantic gesture, in its own way. The next morning, Thug leaves. At home, he exercises until Charlie calls, asking him to pick up a pill shipment from Dr. Gruber, played by Ryan Homchick. Thug says he knows where to go, then immediately checks his notebook for directions. At the clinic, Dr. Gruber tries to haggle over price, but Thug shuts him down. Before leaving, Thug asks about memory loss. Dr. Gruber urges him to see a specialist. Thug visits a doctor and learns he has CT. He may only have a few years before he loses the ability to care for himself. She asks if he has children. He says yes. She explains that he'll eventually need full-time care. At home, Thug considers suicide. He holds a gun, but outside, he sees a little girl giving him the middle finger, smiling as she does. The absurdity of the moment stops him. It sets him on a new path, one to try and make amends. He calls his daughter Daisy, played by Frankie Shaw. She's upset to hear from him and refuses to meet. When Thug asks about his son but forgets his name, Daisy reminds him, "You mean Colin, Dad?" Thug says yes. She tells him Colin died 2 years ago. Thug is devastated and asks why no one told him. Daisy answers, "You didn't even remember his name. What did it matter?" He asks where Colin is buried. Thug hits himself in frustration. "Fucking idiot," he mutters. The next morning, he visits the cemetery. After searching, he finds Colin's grave, covered in dirt. He clears it, angry and sorrowful, then yells at the caretaker, "You should take better fucking care of this place." Later, Thug goes to Daisy's house. It has a for sale sign. He walks around back and finds her. She's not pleased to see him. He asks to take her to dinner. He meets his grandchildren, Katie and Dre, played by Terrence Pulliam. When Thug asks why she's selling the house, Daisy says she was renting and the owner is selling it. He tries to explain himself, but Daisy isn't interested. She says he was an asshole, just like the fathers of her children. Thug asks again to take them to dinner. She tells him to leave. That night, Thug dreams of water flooding his home and of his father appearing. Thug asks if he's still mad. "Nah, I ain't mad no more, kid," his father replies. Thug hears music. The wind chimes sound like a guitar. The next day, Thug spends time with woman. In bed, she reveals her cigarette-burned scars, products of abusive boyfriends. He tells her his scars came from assholes too. When Charlie calls, Thug says he has to go to New York. Woman asks for a kiss goodbye. Thug says he doesn't have time and leaves. Thug and Kyle drive to New York. Kyle asks for directions, but Thug deflects. At the drop, Thug scouts the area. Satisfied, they make the pickup, a moving truck. Kyle asks what they're transporting. Thug says, "You don't want to know." A police car tails them, and Kyle panics. Thug shoves him down, so the cop won't see two nervous men. After the cop drives off, Kyle complains about being disrespected. Thug tells him respect must be earned. They deliver the truck to Gambaro, played by Javier Molina. Kyle wants to get out, but Thug stops him. They're not supposed to know. Suddenly, Thug hears a scream. A woman, Araceli, played by Deanna Terraza, begs him for help. She cuts his hand. Thug realizes the women are being trafficked. He's horrified. The next day, Thug goes to Dre's football game. Afterward, he gives him a fishing reel as a gift. Dre wants to stay for another game, and Daisy allows it. Thug later drives him home and asks why Dre was suspended. Dre says the coach's son wouldn't stop getting in his face. Thug tells him that sometimes walking away is strength. Dre asks about prison. Thug says it's because he couldn't walk away. Dre asks if he really abandoned the family. Thug goes quiet. They visit the gym. Thug shows Dre how to box. Before dropping him off, he tells Dre not to mention it to his mother. "You afraid of her?" Dre asks. "Damn right I am." Thug says. "Me too," Dre replies. That night, Thug dreams of his father again. He wakes, his hand bleeding from Araceli's cut. He remembers fishing as a kid, how his father stopped taking him after betrayal. Thug takes it as a sign. He returns to Gambaro's house to see Araceli. She begins undressing, but Thug stops her. "I don't know why I'm here," he says. She says she owes $20,000. Thug wants to help, but doesn't have the means. He leaves, ashamed. Charlie later asks Thug to collect $20,000 from Priest. When Thug finds him, the priest tries to hide. He gives the money. Thug asks for confession, but the priest says he's too busy, right before he's shot. Thug fights back, killing 2 of the assassins. He corners the last one, learning the hit was ordered by a man with a spiderweb tattoo. He drives off. Thug visits Charlie, gives him the money, and lies about the incident. Back at home, he finds woman waiting. She sees his CTE diagnosis. Thug admits to drinking, memory loss, and his guilt over Colin's overdose. Colin was gay, and Thug thinks he didn't handle it well. Woman says they should enjoy the time they have, even if it ends badly. The next morning, Thug invites her to dinner with Daisy and the kids, but Daisy never shows. Thug has a breakdown at the restaurant. Woman comforts him. The next day, Woman meets Daisy and tells her about Thug's illness. Thug hears this and lashes out. Threatening woman in front of Daisy and Dre. Woman leaves and Daisy scolds him. Still, she agrees to help him find a better doctor. Later, Thug apologizes to Dre. "Don't be like me," he says. Dre walks away silently. That night, Thug visits Charlie to ask for a $40,000 loan, $20,000 for Araceli, $20,000 for Daisy. But Charlie has already heard from Dr. Gruber. He fires Thug. Kyle mocks him. As Thug leaves, he spots Charlie's new enforcer, the one with the spider web tattoo. Thug attacks him and pulls a gun. He confronts Charlie, confirming they tried to kill him. Charlie's silence is proof. Thug shoots Kyle in the leg, forces Charlie to open the safe, and takes money and guns. He tells Charlie he came for a favor and was tossed aside like trash. He kills Charlie but spares Kyle. Thug calls his lawyer, Bert, played by Tom Kemp, and asks him to deliver a cashier's check to Daisy for a new home. Bert asks where the money came from. Thug shows him his hand, where he wrote Charlie's name. "Nice knowing you." Bert says. Thug finds woman drunk, burned again. He helps her, tells her she needs real help. She says he helps her. He holds her as she sleeps. Thug returns to Gambaro to buy Araceli's freedom for $30,000. Gambaro reveals she was murdered by a customer. He mocks her death. Thug, furious, forces Gambaro to release all the other girls using both his and Gambaro's money. As one of Gambaro's men tries to attack, Thug kills him, but is stabbed. As Gambaro gloats, one of the girls shoots him dead. Thug tells her to take the money and go. Bleeding out, Thug calls Dre and tells him to meet outside, at Daisy's house. He sees Dre and tells him that he tried to do the right thing. Dre notices the blood, but Thug brushes it off. Maybe the only way to do something right is to do something bad. Thug says. They briefly hold hands. Thug says goodbye and leaves. He drives an abandoned house nearby, drawn by a wind chime that sounds like a guitar. As the sun rises and the chime rings, Thug breathes heavily, bleeding out. The final shot shows the ocean, implying Thug has died. Thanks for listening to AudioSummary. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and stay curious. Until next time,